Seniors, Superintendent Guards are here, and I just want to let you know that you did it. You really did it. You're here, you're about to graduate, you're gonna get your diplomas. And then you also pulled off the most epic and prolific senior prank and the world's longest ever senior skip day. You did it. In all seriousness, we're here to celebrate you and honor you. And this segment will share some of our thoughts. Some of your classmates from both Eisenhower and West are here to represent you. And we want to thank you, certainly not the way that we intended to honor you and celebrate you, but this is a small token of our appreciation for your efforts. We had been hearing some noise out there in K-12 education where other states were already being impacted by COVID-19. And as a result of that, we actually started an internal task force about 2 to 3 weeks prior to that date.
The morning of March 13th, it was like any other day, and then as the day actually transpired and things started closing down all over the state, we kind of looked at each other and said, oh, this might be it.
That last day there was some numbness involved because things were moving very quickly. We got a call just after noon saying this is the direction we were going. I made an announcement to students at 2:30, and I think the realism hit when you walk into the hallways and you start seeing students collecting their things and you start hearing questions of, Mr. Fesenmeyer, how long are we going to be gone? Mr. Fesenmeyer, are we going to come back to school this year? Mr. Fesenmeyer, is this the last day for school, or are we coming back soon?
When we said goodbye on that day, I don't think we thought we would be saying goodbye for all intents and purposes to our students for the end of the academic year. So it's been an adjustment for all of us, knowing that was the last day.
We were able to get the resources in the hands of our kids literally that day so that they took that home with them, not knowing. And at the time, we were assuming we were going to be back in a couple weeks, at that time. Now going to be into this about 3 months after all is said and done.
That day, when we first found out that we were going home and then we weren't going to come back, I was in AP Gov last hour and Jacob was homesick. There was a lot of me texting Jacob, what's your locker code? Where's your stuff? What do we need to bring home type of thing.
My classmates are probably very frustrated. I've talked to a few and they're like, oh, this is not how I pictured my senior year to go.
We've all been pretty bummed out, but I say we've persevered pretty good and we're continuing to stay united, which is helping us all get through this.
People are saying we've gone through 12 years of school just to miss out on the best 3 months. So it's kind of just a big disappointment.
I guess I personally took everything for granted, walking through the halls one last time and seeing everything, and I just feel like the floor was just taken out from under us.
When the school started shutting down, I was actually really upset because we had just started track season actually, and this is my senior year. We had the first week almost completely done, and then they shut it down, and I was getting ready for a big season. It was a really big downer.
I recently got a national gold key for one of my paintings, and we were supposed to go to Carnegie Hall in June, and that got canceled, which it would have been a really cool trip. They are still doing an online ceremony, but I definitely wish I could have gone there.
We were all sad and that we were missing out on the second half of our senior year after working so hard for the first 3.5 years. It's kind of that last semester where you're allowed to relax, say goodbye to your friends and your teachers. But at the same time, I think a lot of us understand that, we're in a global pandemic. This is affecting a lot more than just, us seniors.
One of the things that we've been working towards all year with our DECA club was DECA ICDC, our national competition, which was supposed to be at the end of April, which got canceled. Something that we studied for and put hours upon hours in. And that kind of hurt us right away when we first found out that everything was closing.
I've been playing basketball since first or second grade. Our specific class at Ike have been talking about once we're seniors, we're gonna make it to state because we know we have a good junior class. We've been talking about it for a ton of years, and just to have the opportunity taken away from us when we had a chance is just sad overall.
It was not an easy task, and fortunately our kids, their families, especially with whatever circumstance they're dealing with, because some are what are known as essential workers, they're nurses, doctors, delivery drivers, whatever it may be. Some of them did, were both parents are working, so then how are we addressing that? So we really needed to kind of flip everything that we did on its head, and certainly I'm really proud of the work that we've been able to do on behalf of our students and their families.
And the district's doing a really great job of helping us, I guess, regain our senior year. Like, they're helping us plan our prom, our graduation, all these different awards. They're constantly asking us to, I guess, explain like what the last part of our senior year should have been like. So even though we're missing it, it's still been like a pretty good experience.
In celebration of the end of the year, we know it's going to be different, and especially for our seniors. So we're expecting that our underclassmen are going to have those experiences that you would normally get to close high school, but this senior class is not going to get those in the same way. So we've spent a lot of time talking about what would be a positive celebration and how can we celebrate the events and the experiences that we're having right now. So what can we do differently? We did a drive-up cap and gown distribution that worked really, really well. We did a sign distribution to members of our senior class last week, and that opportunity to be at their houses and to talk to their parents and to talk to them and take pictures in front of their sign and be able to just have that connection with them.
Handing out signs to seniors, it's easy because all we have to do is simply ask our staff, and they come running to volunteer with their masks and their gloves on and whatnot. They're excited and happy to be able to help out and pull those together. So it's as simple for us as asking our staff, hey, here's an idea we have, and they come together pretty organically.
I was fortunate enough to have 3 teachers, Mrs. Seitz, Mrs. Cortachado, and Ms. Schlegel, and they just were so enthusiastic, honking their horns, driving around the cul-de-sac, and just yelling. It was so fun. It just made my day.
I had a yarn side delivered by my track and field coach. He's a really nice guy. He's been my track coach for the last 4 years and my cross-country coach. My mom told me I had a surprise outside. I came outside in my pajamas, and this dude rolled up in his Toyota RAV4 and he gave me my my sign, and he was like, I hope you're doing well, and we talked for a little bit, and it was like, just impacted me a lot, and it was a really happy day for me. I'm gonna just say that.
We were actually outside because it was a beautiful day, and we were playing basketball, because it's what we like to do. Yeah. And we're all sweaty, and all of a sudden Miss Bonson pulls up in the driveway, and it was kind of awkward at first because we were all sweaty, and that's not really like good for interacting with people. But it was really nice seeing her, and she was super nice, and she dropped off the signs. We took a picture, and it was pretty cool.
Qdoba.
Qdoba.
Qdoba. Definitely Qdoba.
Friends.
Friends.
Definitely The Office.
The Office.
Adidas.
Nike.
Nike.
Adidas. Nike. I said Nike.
Text.
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 Traditional.
Traditional. I'm vegetarian.
Boneless.
Boneless, baby.
Definitely boneless, without a question.
This fall, I'll be attending the Wharton School of Business at the University of Pennsylvania to major in finance and entrepreneurship, and then minor in computer science.
For me, the academic and career planning guide, I've really looked into that, and I'd say that because I knew I didn't want to go to college, I was kind of lost at first, but when I did some deeper digging, I realized that I wanted to go right into the workforce. I will be in the workforce with Total Mechanical starting summertime full-time, and I'll be working 40 hours a week as a first-year apprentice.
I'm going to be going into the Marines right after high school, and I think that the ACP has guided me in terms of what's going to happen after the Marines. I plan to become an immigration lawyer. That and my counselor have kind of guided me with the classes I should take throughout my high school career.
We're both attending UW-Madison in the fall. I'm going for actuarial science. He's going for biochem and computer science. Yeah, we've been together for the past 18 years. Might as well be together for one more.
Yep.
I plan to study business or communication at UW Parkside 4-year university. I plan to run there for the cross country and the track team. I run the mile.
This fall, I will be attending the University of Minnesota Duluth, and I will be playing softball for them. I was able to lead the state in home runs because I really worked hard in the off season and I had a great team surrounding me and supporting me my whole way through.
I've been taking classes off campus for early college credit, and I'm going to be going to Marquette next year to study biomedical sciences to be a PA. I was fortunate enough to receive the full tuition Burke Scholarship at Marquette, thanks to everything with the college opportunity that I had at New Berlin West to prepare me for that.
In academic and career planning, I was prepared because our school district does a really good job with giving us classes to take in order to help us solidify our love for certain career paths.
So something that's really cool is kind of our range of classes. From our different experiences with DECA and also our trip to Badger Boy State over last summer, we were able to meet a lot of people from around the state. And their schools don't have like the range of classes that we do, so they may only have a few APs, but we have a lot of APs, and that allowed us to, gauge in different interests, such as the different sciences or all the different social study classes that we have. Additionally, the school held like different nights, like there was a financial aid boot camp, which helped to prepare us for college with the FAFSA and other financial aid forms where we really wouldn't have known to fill them out or how to without them. There's certainly a lot of resources that we were able to take advantage of.
In the fall, I'll be going to Boston University as a likely painting major in their College of Fine Arts. And one of the things that in the district really helped me decide to do that was the early college program. So I got to take classes at a local art institution, and through those I really found it was a feasible career option as well.
The district gave me a lot of different resources that helped me obtain the National Merit Scholarship. So with that, you have to take the PSAT. So they really prepared us by doing ACT prep and giving us a really well-rounded background. And then with the Herb Cole Scholarship as well, they helped me by letting me explore a lot of different passions, including my sports and academics and extracurriculars, and all of those accumulated, and I was fortunate enough to receive those scholarships.
TikTok.
Definitely TikTok.
Instagram.
Yeah, Instagram.
Salty.
Sweet.
Sweet.
Good news first. Yeah, good news first.
Bad news first.
Bad news first.
Bad news.
Night owl.
Night owl.
Night owl, for sure.
Night owl, y'all be staying up till 2 a.m. doing nothing.
I attended Orchard Lane Elementary, and I would like to thank Mrs. Leibden, Mrs. Reichart, and Mrs. Becker because learning with them and just being in their classroom every day, it was like having a second mom, which was really nice.
I went to Orchard Lane Elementary School. I would love to thank Miss Lieben. She was my 6th grade teacher. She was really a great inspiration and really got my interest in math.
Miss Breitenfeld, she was my 3rd grade teacher, and she really was the first one to push me ahead in math and my other subjects. And then finally Miss Purse, she was my 6th grade teacher, and she was one of the most encouraging teachers I've ever had, and she was always just pushing us to have fun while learning.
I went to Ronald Reagan for 6th grade, and I had Mrs. Kreider. She was a really good teacher. She taught me how to write, and I carried that with me all through high school and beyond. So yeah, shout out to her.
So I'd like to thank Mrs. Hart. She was my middle school English honors teacher, both 7th and 8th grade. And even though I'm not in her classroom, she still talks to me and checks up on me, which is really nice to know that a teacher cares about me even when I'm not in their classroom.
My favorite high school teacher and one of the teachers that inspired me the most was Mr. Martin. He was my construction teacher sophomore year and junior year. He showed me that college wasn't the only route, and he gave me a bunch of options to look into.
A teacher I'd like to thank is Senorita Thompson for all the hard work she did. It was impossible to miss. She really cared about her students, and she showed me a perspective that was something I didn't see before I took her class.
Miss Vandenberg, my history teacher in 8th grade, she was really cool because here's the thing, she'd always call on random people. It would force me to pay attention, and at the end of the year I learned so much, and I didn't even know that I knew all these random facts.
I would like to thank Mrs. Seitz. Mrs. Seitz is the kindest teacher you will ever meet. She will do anything and will go into infinity and beyond to help any of our students, no matter who they are, what they're doing. If you go to New Berlin West, she'll be more than willing to help you.
LeBron.
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 Michael Jordan.
MJ.
Country.
Country.
Rap.
Rap.
Rap. Yeah, rap for the majority.
Surprises.
Surprises.
Something to look forward to.
Something to look forward to.
Deep dish.
Thin crust.
Thin crust.
Thin crust, all the way, thin crust.
Thin crust, because y'all be crazy. I'd pick the deep dish, though. I think the class of 2020 superpower is super strength.
The class of 2020 superpower is probably persevering. We're brought into this world at a tough time when 9/11 happened, and we're leaving high school with COVID-19 happening, so we've definitely been able to push through a bunch of tough tasks.
My class's superpower would probably be adapting. I think just like throughout our time in Eisenhower, like even not just now, there have been like a lot of changes. Like in middle school, we were like the guinea pigs of like new academic breakthroughs, I suppose. So they tried out a lot of things with us, and although sometimes it was kind of hard, we still kind of like kept going, and I think we do adapt well to a lot of changes.
The class of 2020 superpower is unity, because we're all like in the same situation and we're trying to deal with it and do the best we can.
The class of 2020 superpower is resiliency, because through all of this, we are missing a lot, but we've found our own ways to get through it and kind of replace what we're missing so that we're still having those memorable experiences as a class together. One thing that really stands out right now is we have a senior class page on Instagram, and they've been announcing senior superlatives, announcing where people are going to college, which we usually do at school, you know, as a community, but it's still providing that sense of, you know, we're all in this together and we're all going through the same things together.
I think that their superpower is unity. We've gone through so much together and we've seen the best and the worst of times for everybody. But through this time, we have stuck together, and I know that I've stayed connected with my friends as much as possible. And we all are in the same situation. We're all in the same boat. So staying together and getting through this, I think, is one of the best ways possible to deal with a situation like this, which is so unheard of.
My class of 2020 superpower would probably be fighting adversity. Really, with this COVID-19 stuff, it's been pretty hard to learn and just kind of deal with everything. And it's really special that this class is able to, you know, fight through that and, you know, be better from it.
Yeah, my class of 2020 superpower would probably be adaptability, just because we're able to translate our learning from in-person to online very quickly. And I feel like a lot of students have been able to do it effectively.
I would say we're all very ambitious, but also very free-spirited and personable. A lot of us were leaders, and like we all found our own paths, even though we were still pretty competitive with one another, but it was like a good-natured competitiveness.
This class had great school spirit. They won and succeeded in almost everything they did. And you always hate to see a class like that graduate, because you love that ongoing and continued success. So I think that's what I'll really miss. They're a tremendous class, and they're a tremendous group of respective individuals.
I will miss from the class of 2020 their engagement, their willingness to have real conversations, their willingness to talk to people in the hallway, and the connectivity and the energy that they brought to our building.
I know I will miss softball because I only played 2 years on varsity. It would have been my third year this year. I will also miss prom, because prom's just one of those like high school gateways. You go to prom and you say you went to prom whether you loved it or not. But I loved prom last year, and I will miss my senior prom.
I'm gonna miss a lot of the school dances that we had, so prom, homecoming, Sadie's. I went to almost every school dance, and it was definitely a lot of fun just to spend time with my friends, get dressed up, so I'll miss those.
The one I'm going to miss the most is football season, because not only because just watching the games, but the energy during that season with everybody. Everyone was kind of into it at the same time, and everyone was really united.
I really enjoyed my time on the dance team here at New Berlin West. It was a great opportunity to kind of get out of my shell, and I'm going to miss it.
My favorite memory was last year in the spring. I was fortunate enough to qualify for the International DECA competition, which was in Orlando, Florida, and all my best friends qualified as well. So we all got to travel to Florida, go to Disney and Universal, but then also like compete in this like amazing competition and meet people from all around the country and world.
I think that we are just so passionate. We care so much about all of our students. We go and support each other at sporting events, club events, and we really just have a genuine caring for everybody and their successes. I know that I love going to football games and supporting the football team, and the baseball team comes to support softball when we were on our way to the state tournament. There's just such a great community at New Berlin West, and that is something that we will leave for the seniors of 2021.
I think that if I had gone to a different district, I wouldn't be the same person I am today. People here hold me accountable for what I do, and they make me a better person overall, and I think I've learned a lot.
I've come to realize recently that different doesn't mean less. And even though the end of their school year was different than almost every other school year probably in recent history, it doesn't mean that their experience at Eisenhower is any less or any less impactful or any less important or any less respected than anybody that came before them. They're a great group of individuals, a great group of students, and I hope they always recognize and kind of pass that forward, that just because something might look, act, be, feel different doesn't mean it has any less value or any less importance than anything else. As a class, they were amazing. They're a class that overcame a ton of adversity already in their school year, and to that end, I'm not worried about them. I know they're going to be fine. They're students who have tremendous success in all aspects, the arts, athletics, academics. We have students going all over the country to colleges. We have students entering the military. And actually, this class is a class that really has made a lot of positive impact that's going to last beyond their years.
The advice I have for the class of 2020 is no different than the advice I would give anybody. Control your controllables. And they did that extremely well, and they're doing that extremely well. There's things in your life that you're going to face that you cannot control. And while you may worry about those, you have to put those aside and understand what's within your control and make your decisions and develop your action based on those controllables.
Well, what I can tell you about this class is that they've experienced this notion of the College Career and Life Readiness Initiative. They've experienced it the most, so they've as we integrated things in the elementary school, the middle school, and the high school throughout, they've been impacted the most as a result of that work. So I know with some of these seniors, the notion of expect excellence may be cliche, as has been represented in previous senior speeches and so on, but we truly mean it. Our students really deliver it.